What up, YouTube? Piston Slap here. And I'll give you guys a kind of a winter update. What I'm doing with my bike. I've already ripped it apart and done a bunch of stuff to it, but I didn't have really, think about, hey, I should have filmed this, even though I thought I should have filmed it, and then got into it and didn't realize I was filming it. So you can see it's kind of looks funky. It's because it's actually all apart and really loose. So what I want to talk about today, and this is going to be a couple different videos, is how to change the spark plugs, how to change the air filter. So I'm going to break it into two different videos for those of you that are just going for the air filter, and for those of you that are just going for the spark plugs. Maybe I'll just throw it all together, because really, if you're going to do the spark plugs, the air filter is right there. So just maybe something, and that's what I'm doing, is I'm replacing my spark plugs, and while I'm in there, I'm just going to go ahead and do my air filter as well. So with the 2013 through 15, and as far as I know, even the 16 ZX6-R 636, even the ABS models are pretty much all the same other than that ABS. So let's get into it. We're going to need to get underneath the fuel tank. So to get under this fuel tank, you're going to need to remove the seat. Well, to remove the seat, you need to remove the side fairing. As you can see, mine's already popped out. So I'll go ahead and just show you. There will be a fastener right here where my fingertip is. You'll pull that out, and it'll be there'll actually be like a rubber grommet that it's sitting on, so you'll have to work that off. Also, there'll be a couple Velcro strips along the side, and then another couple push pins. Word of caution, warm up your bike before you do it, or if you're already in a warmer climate, then it's okay. But here in Idaho, it's actually quite cold, that just pulling the plastic out is enough that it's so brittle it just snaps off the little pins. It should look like this guy right here, but you can see it just broke it right off. And there's also, let's see, a little forward pin where this panel would slide back to disengage. It just gave up the chase. And then along with, you can see the Velcro here, but that just pops off. So once you get that off, you want to set it aside. You see my bench is actually getting quite cluttered. This will give you access to your seat bolts. Now your seat bolts, guys, are going to be, I don't know if I can get the camera in here. I'm trying a different camera angle. You can see the green from the tank will just up, or towards the rear of the bike and up. You can see there's like a cutout right here. The seat, actually I'll just lift it. You can see that it's white. It bolts right through here. So that cutout, you can use the tools, actually all your tools in your toolkit that are provided from the manufacturer. You can almost take this whole bike apart. There are some things, but just for what we're doing. If you want to go buy your own tool set, that's fine. But remove the Allens, and it is on the left and right side, so you'd need to remove this side and this side. And then the screws would be on the left and right as well, and I'll show you those screws. But so you go ahead and remove your seat. And I have the rear seat off just for fun. So here are your seat bolts, guys. Get a good look at those. You can see they're special. They got shoulders, and what that shoulder does, it actually sits inside there like that. So, and to show you that here's your high-end toolkit. Actually, this is the actual bike toolkit right here, guys. Here's the Allens. If you were wondering, some people will be like, "Oh, that doesn't fit." Well, maybe it doesn't, and I was wrong. So, send me the hate mail, guys. I'm sorry. So go buy yourself a toolkit, and for those of you that are wondering, that are trying to watch this beforehand, what size Allen you need to remove that, you will need a 4mm Allen to get in there and remove that. So go ahead and set those aside. I'll set the toolkit right here so we have that. Rear seat's off. So now that the rear seat's off, you can see a little bit more stuff's exposed. Your battery, if you guys are going in there to change the battery. The exhaust servo, if you're wondering what that is. There's two screws right here. These are the front tank screws. That'll be these two guys right here. And they're going to be a little bit larger. And those, I believe, actually, yeah, from the manufacturer, they fit. Mine are getting kind of sloppy from having it on and off multiple times. That size, guys, I believe is going to be the 5mm. That one's, yeah, those are 5s. So those of you want to know 5mm Allen to remove the front. And then you have a long bolt back here, because once you take these off, you can actually roll this tank back and get access to your air box, but you want to be able to remove the whole tank. That'll give you a lot more access to things down around the throttle body and stuff, because if you're going in for the spark plugs. So that would be the difference. If you're just doing the air filter, you wouldn't need to remove the fuel tank. It makes it a lot easier, but it can be done without it. You'll see down here there are a few vacuum lines and stuff, or drain lines. I'm not a motorcycle technician, but I've already removed mine. There's little spring clamps that go on these guys. Don't lose them. You can see right here I've actually set mine aside so I don't lose it, and for some reason mine only had one on it. So the tank bolt right here, 10mm long bolt, toolkit, 10mm, it fits. And I know it's not like me. I have I got so many tools at work that I could do this with, but I just wanted to see, so you can see where that bolt actually slides through there, and there's a welded nut on the other side of this tank that this just slides out, and you're done. So the next part's going to be a little technical and a little touchy. Let's see if I can do this. I'm just actually going to pull this tank off. But what you guys would have to do is, sometimes I think it would be better to have 2 people to help you. Make sure everything's free and clear before I walk away and rip it apart. All right, and make sure you have a clean surface. Set your tank on, so that way you don't scratch it up. So underneath your tank, your fuel pump is actually integrated into the, well, it's bolted into the bottom of the tank. You can see down here, guys, what it looks like. So in my hand, I've got an electrical connector, and you got a single, this is the pressure line coming out to your fuel injection system. We'll talk about that here in a second, but let's go ahead and disconnect this electrical connector. Looks like 3 wires. A power, a ground, and a signal. I don't know. I don't have any schematics on me. But pretty simple. And the other end of that, let me dig around in here. Vacuum lines. It's in here somewhere. I may have lost it in my sea of wiring, but let's get to the fuel line connector, and then as we find it, I'll talk through it. So this connector, you'll see on this particular bike, it may vary from model to year to model year, because sometimes the manufacturers change things like this. But this connector, I have it in the unlocked position right now. It's being a turd, but this connector would normally be flush. All you want to do is just wiggle it back to where it's in the unseated. And this may be pressurized, guys, so have a rag over it as you disconnect it. So any fuel spray, you don't want gas in your eyes. It's no fun. Oh man, it bums me out. I can't find my wire. So, all right, so now we're down to the air box. You'll have a screw up here if you're going to be removing it, but if you're just going for the air filter, there's Phillips screws all the way, and you can see mine's loose. You got Phillips screws all the way around the perimeter, and you got a hidden one down in this hole. Along with this sensor right here, guys, this is your air intake temp sensor. You can just, and of course everything's cold right now, you can slide this foam block back, or I believe forward. But all you want to do is get a hold of the backside and push down on that. So I'll go ahead and snap that on there for you guys. So you can see it's actually attached. Just push on that flap. That'll release it, and then just kind of wiggle it back, and it comes off and just off to the side. So once you get your air box all undone, of course mine's it exposes the backside of your air filter, and I call them velocity stacks, I guess. I don't know. That's what they are in most bikes, but those don't really move. So you can see here, these are my Phillips screws for my air box. There is one, like I said, that hidden one right in the middle. He's kind of just stuck in there. I'm just going to leave that guy in there. I'm not worried about it. So this bike has less than 9,000 miles on it. It's like 50 miles shy of 9,000. Just to give you guys an idea of what 9,000 miles looks like. Now, it's going to change for dust and stuff. You know, if you live in a really dusty climate, your filter may be worse than mine. Then again, maybe it's better. So you got this filter or the screen on the back that kind of keeps the filter from pulling through. And I believe it's also something to do with fire. But anyway, you can see that filter is usually bright orange, and it's done. Guys, this filter is, in my opinion, it's time for a new one. So usually, you guys, if you've been with me a long time, I like to really preach about using stock stuff, but for $20 extra, you can buy this K&N filter, and if you're keeping the bike for a long period of time, you're going to get your money's worth out of this, because the second time I clean this and use it, it's already paid for itself. These filters are like 40, 45 bucks a piece for the factory ones. I think I got this one from, I bought it from Rocky Mountain. Let's cover up my address so you guys don't know where I live. Rocky Mountain K&N air filter, $61.99. So put that in my box of goodies. All right, so there's the air filter. If that's all you're changing, then basically you just reverse the procedure, put your new filter in and put it all back together. If you took the tank off, put the tank back on. If you didn't take the tank off, well, then you would just lay it down, put the 2 screws in, you know, make sure this stuff would all be up in here, so you wouldn't have to worry about that, but just make sure your lines are where they need to be.